Hi, this is Sean Lewis from Journeys Worldwide. Today we're going to be talking to Adi Bajaj from Perfect Travels in India. Perfect Travels organizes trips around India, but today we're going to be specifically talking about the Golden Triangle, which is where most people want to go on their first trip. And we're also going to be talking about the luxury trains of India. Adi, great to see you again. It's been a long time, and certainly I enjoyed my visit to Delhi and staying with your very gracious family. And
It's been a privilege.
We've done a lot of business together over the years, and we
Indeed.
had a great time. Now, today we're going to be talking about a few things. Obviously, the elephant in the room, figuratively, is COVID. And how's COVID been affecting you?
Here in India, Sean, gradually things are starting to resume back to normal. The statewide lockdowns are lifted to 100% now. Local markets, UNESCO heritage sites, to hotels, restaurants, public transport, and even private offices all have been functioning normally since the past few months. Fortunately, with the ongoing efforts, of course, with the apostles of God, the frontline workers and the medical crew in India and overseas world, the recovery rates in India keeps rising and presently is over at 91%, which is the highest in the world. Active cases as well has fallen far below 7%, which is as well the lowest in the world. And not to forget the fatality rate in India, which is almost below 1.5%, which is the lowest in the world. In fact, India, my friend, has till date the lowest active cases per capita for its population size, which in comparison to the rest of the world is far significant.
That's
In terms of
fantastic to
numbers,
hear,
it's very
and
less.
very
So
encouraging.
it's very encouraging indeed, and unfortunately not impacted or reflected correctly in the media. So that is one thing that we would definitely hope that the media would reflect rightly in terms of the per capita size. Our prayers remain universally for all our friends globally for the cases not to spread any further. As you already know, there are a lot of positive news that we are hearing on the phase 3 trials in the final stages by various companies across the world, whether it's UK-based Oxford with Serum India, or whether it's USA companies like Moderna, Pfizer, or J&J. So, as stated by the WHO and the Indian Health Ministry, we are certainly very hopeful for a fruitful outcome by early 2021.
That's fantastic to hear. And we're certainly looking forward to traveling back there again. But it's obviously impacted international tourism phenomenally, and you
It
must
has
be
indeed.
really struggling with that. Although you do also have a fair bit of domestic tourism, don't you?
Yes, indeed, we have a fair bit of domestic tourism as well. I mean, I would say 95% of our operations as a family business is inbound tourism. But in this point of time, since especially since the lockdowns got initiated post March, we as a family business started to restructure a lot of our company products to be catering towards the domestic market, whether it may be gatherings of small individuals which are focusing on wedding groups in India, sending them to destination weddings to nearby drivable distances, such as the state of Rajasthan, which we'll talk more about in detail shortly, or whether it may be arranging these small trips for families, their vacations to the overseas world, such as Dubai or UAE, Abu Dhabi, where the bubble flight operations have begun since the past few months. So we are trying to generate any sort of revenue that we can in our company books, so that we ourselves, as a small boutique business, can march through the coming months until we see the global travel audience getting their confidence lifted back to begin traveling internationally again. So yes, we are having some sort of restructuring happening on the domestic tours part, which I must also add has a huge potential growth over the past few months since September. So a lot of these hoteliers, wildlife parks, guides, transporters, a lot of their livelihoods have started to come back slowly but steadily due to the rise in the domestic tourism in India. So that is a positive news. But the other side of the coin, when it comes to the inbound tourism, that is where probably we stand the last in the queue and waiting for the recovery to happen to the fullest.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to hear there's some good news coming out of it, and recovery is always a good thing. Now, to talk about just what we really are focusing on is the travel and what's out there. And some of your India's too big, and there's far too much out there to talk about it all. So we're just going to talk about a couple of things today, and then hopefully we'll have another chance another day. But
Sure.
tell us a little bit about, everybody travels to India. Normally, the first thing they want to do is what is known as the Golden Triangle. And
Indeed.
Perfect Travel and Tours, you tend to do things a little bit differently, which is why we like working with you. And can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure, Sean. I mean, as you already know, we have beautiful relationships with you and your lovely team since over decades now. We at Perfect Travels, as you know, we are a 40-year-old DMC managed by three generations of Bajaj family, along with a creative travel experts from various corners of our nation, which are dream here to handcraft your dream holidays for India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, and even Maldives. So you get a lot for the Indian subcontinent as a whole. Um, you're right when you say that it is the Golden Triangle, which is more like the introductory tour of India. It is suitably one of the reasons why I must add it is the introductory tour of India is because of how suitably it is reached by a scenic drivable distance of around merely 200 to 230 kilometers per city between each of the three landmark cities of India, being Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. Our glorious Golden Triangle is a perfect introductory journey for the first timers who are preferring to experience India within a short space of time, especially North India within a week. We explore the old and new city of Delhi, which is influenced by 1850s British Raj Empire. We visit India's crown jewel, the Taj Mahal in city of Agra, to the pink-washed capital of Rajasthan, Jaipur. So all of our handcrafted tours, Sean, celebrate history, heritage, and traditions of the local culture. In fact, our informative, friendly, and professional licensed tour guides, as well as our travel chauffeur drivers, have been working with us for over decades as a family. It is such relationships that matter the most to us. Um, that as well enables us to deliver you and our guests a consistency in quality of service and the overall experience of their travel as a whole. Whether it may be New Delhi with its colonial architecture from the British Empire, Agra for its great Mughal Empire, to the vibrant city of Jaipur known for its classic Rajasthani architecture, complemented with antique furnishings, we deliver you a regional experience in your accommodation, with every state, every city being visited in your itinerary, thus offering you a hospitality experience which is soul free preserved to reveal royal moments to travel like a Maharaja or a Maharani. And just to add a few notes here, being one of the oldest family run DMC in India, it allows us to celebrate a beautiful relationship, Sean, with many of these heritage and boutique hotels and their hotel owners that we proudly suggest in our handcrafted packages at wholesale offerings. So, whether you prefer budget Indian guest houses or family run heritage havelis, which are royal mansions, to character rich palace retreats ranging from Oberoi's to the Taj group of luxury hotels, we have a variety which is endless.
And it's just
So,
certainly something
talking
that I've really enjoyed when I've traveled with you. It's just been a fantastic experience.
Indeed, I mean, Sean, we had a privilege to welcome you, and when you came recently, and had the honor to welcome you to our little Indian home as well for a beautiful Indian family meal. So it is experiences like these are experiences like these, the local experiences like these that we celebrate with our the tourist and our guy and our guests as well. For instance, the three main cities as I talked about, Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. I'll cover a bit briefly about what are local experiences that we offer in addition to the World Heritage Landmark sites, which are already included in the itinerary. For example, on the arrival day in Delhi, we have a ceremonial welcome dinner, which is arranged with the Indian Hindu family, that is complemented with a cooking masterclass and cultural interactions with the Indian family. A little side note here, the variety of unique vegetarian and vegan dishes that you learn may make you forget meat as well, Sean. Punjabi cuisine, as you will know, the state in the northern part of India, is a culinary style regional to Delhi, but originating in the northernmost state of India, Punjab, which, as you will know, is now was divided between India and Pakistan post partition in 1947. Its rich tradition of using clay oven tandoors, which is adored by many. And this culinary style, Sean, is heavily influenced by agriculture and farming lifestyle prevalent till the ancient times of the Harappan civilization. So many ingredients that you'll try when you have a masterclass on arrival, let's say for the welcome dinner, you'll be having main ingredients of the Punjabi cuisine, such as mustard greens, which is called sarson, the cornmeal flatbreads, which are called makki, and and the basmati rice, which is indigenous to the state. Not to forget the desserts, a regional pudding made from fresh carrots, milk, sugar, ghee and butter, and nuts, which is a delicacy and popularly called as the Gajar Ka Halwa. Some you
Okay.
would relish to try. So
Yeah, that's,
the
I must
following
say, that was
day,
something I really enjoyed, was just the variety of food that we got there. And I remember your aunt, she specializes in taking food tours of Delhi, and she gave me a
yes,
little
indeed.
sample of that, and that was fantastic. That was really eye-opening, attending some of the food stalls and just seeing also where they buy a lot of their food, the spices and the meat markets were
Yeah,
very interesting, shall we say. And I was
yeah,
amazed at how we traveled for, or was it 10 days, 2 weeks, and never got the same food twice. It was, you could have different breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You weren't having your traditional Western, what Westerners think of Indian food. And that was a big surprise and very nice for me.
correct. Correct, absolutely right. As rightly put, Delhi having a lot of its influence from, especially from descendants from Punjab and the nearby states of India. But when you travel to other regions of India, whether it may be east, west, south, or even central India, every state of India, 29 states total in India, every state offers a distinct meal, which is a distinct flavor, a distinct style of wearing a sari or a local outfit, to even a local language and a dialect being spoken. There are nationally over 14 languages which are registered and spoken in India total. So you can imagine not only the flavors change state to state, but even the languages and the attire changes as well. So there's a unique culture which is different to every state of India. We ourselves say India is more like a diversity that you find similar to diversity somewhat like in Europe, where you travel from France to Italy to Germany to where not, you see a different culture altogether. Something like that you get in India, but in one country. So it is more like a world that you travel to, which is distinct from state to state in one country. So that is the benefit that you get. And you rightly put earlier as well that one of the food walk tours is our speciality when we visit the ancient walled city of Old Delhi. where we hop onto these local rickshaw, which are tricycles, exploring the real life and buzz of the iconic bazaar called Chandni Chowk, and Asia's largest spice market as well, called Khadi Bauli. Afterwards, as you must have experienced, we took a nice little food walk tour deep inside the city's bread street, which is called Gali Parathe Wali. The quick side note here, our ground team is expert in offering you not only a great overview and orientation of each city, Sean, but also looking after what's avoidable to keep you away from the good old Delhi belly. That is something that would really
That is
interest you
very
to know.
important, and I think everybody knows about it. And yeah, we try and avoid as much as possible.
So, in addition to talking a little bit briefly about Delhi as a city, as you know, it is a part of 11 cities which was clubbed together to make one Delhi, which had two rulers, which is the Mughal Empire followed by the British Empire. In Delhi, when we visit in our day tours, as we mentioned, in addition to the landmark, distinctive World Heritage sites, we have a lot of these local experiences that give life to our itineraries. It is these local experiences that makes the itinerary so special. So during a general tour, we get a chance to visit something like a community kitchen inside a Sikh shrine, which is known as a Gurudwara. And we participate in the cooking ceremony that feeds over 10,000 needies per day. Imagine, Sean, massive cooking pots stirred by strong armed men, which are having spoons with the length of something like an oar. Followed by that, for more local experiences, we catch a nice little Delhi underground metro train to get entertained by the friendly locals. And we take a ride to the part of Delhi that has later become 1920s New City, aka the Lutyens' Delhi, designed by the famous British architect Sir Edwin Lutyens. We arrive at the ceremonial boulevard of Rajpath, where we learn about the magnificent architectures of Parliament, President House, and the India Gate up close in person, followed by the horseshoe-shaped downtown markets of Connaught Place, where we enjoy unique delicacies at an Indo-Swiss cafe, proudly serving since the Viceroy's times. And the evening, we have something special for you as well. Instead of you going to the hotel and relaxing, we can even offer you something to prefer an evening of entertainment at a live Bollywood theater, which is called the Kingdom of Dreams, complemented with traditional Indian dinner and drinks. It is a 2.5-hour Broadway musical which offers visibly state-like art and craft like never seen before. So that is something in short that we'd like to briefly tell you about how we try to encourage Delhi as a city and bring it to life to the clients when they're traveling with us.
It's certainly a great destination. I think it's something that surprised me. You know, with such a massive population, I never really felt totally overwhelmed, and the variety of things that you can do there. And your aunt took me to one of those where the Sikhs produce meals for the poor, and that was a fantastic experience. And we actually got involved, and we helped with the cooking as well. And people just come and go, helping. People arrive in a Mercedes, chauffeured in, local Sikh, and you help out, and then off they go again. It's an experience. And then, you know, you get into a little tucked away, I forget the name, those wells with all the steps going down.
Yes. They're called the Chand Baudi step wells. Yes. In Delhi, we have these step wells called the Agra Sen Ki Bauli. So Bauli was the earlier word which the ancient times, the Mughals used to use it as a step wells, which was the underground irrigation system for water and the processing. So it was more like an ancient concept, which is, Sean, till date followed in rural India when we visit a lot of these village tours that we do across our itineraries. So you'll experience that a lot of these villages have still date the Baudis, which are still being used. Something very similar when we talk about Baudi, you will be also aware about the infamous film, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. So in that film, you must have experienced the picturesque Baudi, which is the stepwells, which has been shot, where Judi Dench takes a walk around the ancient village of Kempur. Nearby, we have the Lake Palace city of Udaipur, but drivable distance is to Jaipur, which is the Pink City. And en route, we take a chance to stop at the Abhaneri village. The Abhaneri village is where you actually have these Chand Baudi, which is an ancient underground stepwells, which is more like a zigzagged masterpiece of the 10th century. And it is here where the royals used to picnic, and today more like a popular spot for films like The Exotic Marigold and various others. So yes, there are quite a few of these distinctive landmarks that you can experience in Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, and mostly in Rajasthan circuit. You'll be finding a lot of these Baudi concept, and even more across the West India, we have some spectacular or some of the oldest Baudis in the world, which is in the lovely state of Gujarat. So a lots to offer. I understand we
It's
have
a
short
huge
amount of
amount,
time
and we
today.
certainly can't cover all of it. But one of the things that you introduced me to was the luxury trains of India. And you do a
Yes.
lot of specializing in that, the Deccan Odyssey, the Maharaja's Palace, and the Palace on Wheels. And can you tell us a bit more about those?
Oh yeah, sure, Sean. So the Royal Trains of India are a masterpiece in every way. So at the turn, I'll just briefly tell you a small story that comes to my mind here. Um, at the turn of the 20th century, during days of the erstwhile British Raj era in India, erstwhile rulers of the princely states of India and the viceroys of the British Empire had built these stately carriages for their personal use on the vast Indian rail network. In time, the Indian Ministry of Railways perfectly restored these heritage masterpieces, serving you a must experience journey which is filled with nostalgia, drenched in opulence, and awarded as the leading luxury trains of the world. So these character-rich journeys, Sean, are operated by today by the IRCTC, the Indian Railways Catering and Tourism Corporation, along with the tourism development corporations of various states where the journey covers to, which includes the states in the north, such as Rajasthan, state in the west, Maharashtra, to even the south, which is Karnataka. So often, it is set forth as a benchmark against the Orient Express and the Blue Trains of South Africa. These are the trains which we are briefly going to cover here in our talk. The Royal Indian Trail Journeys explores some of the most fascinating terrains of India, which covers World Heritage sites, many of which, Sean, are unheard and unseen, whether it may be thrilling wildlife encounters to cruising on the sacred Ganges River, an exclusive meal setting at sites such as a champagne breakfast in the gardens of the Taj Mahal, to personalized butler services. These onboard accommodation rail journeys will transport you back into an era of elegant traveling. So in India, we have primarily four, as per every year in advance. They are uh, the specific train itineraries which are on fixed departures announced by the government to be encouraged and sold at. So presently, for the upcoming season for 2021, there are four Royal trains in operation, beginning with the iconic Palace on Wheels, which is only recently relaunched with fresh carriages in 2019. The Paris on Wheels has been serving as to the leisure traveler, Sean, since I would say the late 1980s. And this is one of the oldest. And later came the other trains, such as the Deccan Odyssey, which runs in the west, the Golden Chariot, that runs in the south, to the Maharaja Express, which is the highest standard of luxury in India currently, that began its leisure operations during the early 21st century, you can say. So, fixed itinerary they offer, which ranges from 3 nights all the way to 7 nights of luxurious onboard accommodation in on all meal plan basis. And talking briefly about the first Deluxe Heritage train, which is a 7 nights fixed itinerary called the Palace on Wheels, which got refurbished in 2019, as I mentioned. So it covers the journey of north to the west of India. I'm sorry, Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good. No, no, carry on. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So talking briefly about the Palace on Wheels, which is a deluxe heritage train for a 7 nights journey. It recently got refurbished in 2019 and covers the state of Rajasthan, which is one of the largest tourist arrival states in India. So the train covers the journey of north to west of India, and pricing starts from average only about 2,900 US dollars per person for a half twin, close to about 3,700 US dollars on single occupancy basis. It's a 7 nights all inclusive fixed itinerary with which includes onboard lodging, John. And the rooms are approximately 120 square foot in size, which are quite luxurious AC cabins and used for single or double or twin separate bedding occupancy. The cabins offer fast speed internet equipment, a range of these luxurious amenities, including of course a private ensuite bathroom, which comes with a walk-in shower, having hot pressured water at all times. On the train, you can enjoy all day breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is gourmet catering on board and even off board at special venues as per your itinerary of the choice that you make. So the plan includes morning and evening tea times as well, but also daily bottled water, two per person during the tour times. The only aspect to consider here is the bar menu, which is a very important one, I must say. So it comes at an additional charge, of course, for the on-board bar menu. Along with that, the spa and the laundry facilities as well come at an additional charge on board, which are very much payable conveniently by a credit card, or even if you have Forex, we have an onboard Forex facility as well. So there's no provision on train for a triple berth. I mean, sometimes people ask, if we have a child, how can we take them? So for that, we best have a note that if it's a child which is under 5 years of age, the child travels free with the parents. And if the child is under 12 years of age, he has to pay 50% of the rate. It's a guided tour for the entire itinerary. As you will know, it's a fixed train tour. But as we journey to different train stations, luxury coaches will be receiving you along with your regional tour guide, who will meet you and take you on the tour of that local city. So that is how it works. So in the night time and the early morning time, the train journeys. And in the midday time, you obviously do the tour of the local city. The default language that the train tour covers is English, but multilingual personal guides can also be arranged at an additional cost. You can approximately take it at around $250 per day. Even if someone wants to have a short train trip, even wants to do it on a part and pay system. So many of these trains can also offer a part and pay system where you can simply choose how many days or how many nights you would like to spend in the train, and you can simply get off on that particular station from where we transfer you to your airport and you journey back home. So if you want a shorter tour, that can also be done on a per quota basis, which is called a part and pay system, where you simply pay for the journey that you have stayed for in the train. I must add that these trains are a spectacle in every way. Each saloon in the train highlights the cultural ethos of every state that it travels to. It's represented through the use of furniture, handicrafts, paintings, and even the furnishings. These trains, Sean, have a capacity of roughly around 80 to approximately 100 people, 100 guests on board, having 23 coaches, each of the coach having up to 4 to 5 saloon, serving with delectable dining rooms that specializes in regional meals as the train journeys to. On board the train, you can even enjoy traditional bar lounge, as I mentioned. And along with that, there comes a business center, a library, a wellness center, and a range of Ayurveda Indian spa therapies as well. When you are arriving for the train and embarking on that journey, you are met with a grand ceremony, which happens, of course, in the case of Palace on Wheels at the Delhi's beautiful railway station called the Safdarjung New Delhi station. The train journey embarks late evening around approximately the sunset time, embarks around 6 p.m. as we approach dusk, and it disembarks in the early morning time, post the breakfast, approximately 7:30 in the morning. So usually, before or after the journey, we always suggest you can prefer to stay one night at a boutique lodging nearby at the station where we can arrange that. This includes a variety of our hand-selected options. Sean, as I mentioned, we are allied with a lot of these heritage hotels, whether it may be boutique or budget Indian guest houses, to family-run heritage havelis, to even character-rich palaces, which ranges from Oberoi to the Taj group of luxury hotels. The best time to travel the train, rather than talking about that, I must suggest that the times when the trains are not operational. Though the summer months, you can say the May till August are the months when the trains are off and go undergo the maintenance during these months. So during these months, they are non-operational. As far as rest of all the months are concerned, it's a beautiful time to travel to India. Anywhere from September till even the mid of April, which is considered more like the end of spring season in India, is a
Okay.
perfect time to travel to nationally in India.
Adi, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut short there. We've run out of time, but hopefully we'll be able to get together, because you were telling me earlier before we started the interview about the cats that you're starting to see, some of the rare stuff that's coming out because of COVID and the lack of tourists. And so I'm looking forward to our next chat. That to me is really interesting, and I'm looking forward to that.
Indeed. Would you like me to give you a quick glimpse about what is happening actually currently in India in terms of the wildcat population?
Unfortunately, we are literally out of time, but I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that very soon.
Sure. It will be a privilege, Sean. And once again, we hope that you and your loved ones are safe, and we look forward to welcoming you soon to our diverse India, along with your friends and a beautiful family. As our world recovers, Sean, on its travel confidence, we at the Bajaj family and Perfect Travels want to take this moment to send you our prayers for an auspicious Diwali season, a peaceful Christmas, and we wish for a celebratory year ahead for everyone in the travel industry and other sectors as well. So
thank you, Adi, and please give my greetings to both your parents and your grandmother, and we look forward to seeing them again soon. Namaste.
Boat acha.
India, incredible India.
We've been talking to Adi Bajaj from Perfect Travels in India. It's been interesting to hear that India is opening up internally and that things are looking really good there. They've got COVID under control, and we look forward to being able to travel with them as soon as the international borders open up. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.